Welcome into the windy plains of Oklahoma. It's another episode of your favorite podcast, Burgers and Brats. Going to be diving into all the March madness. It is March. It is madness. My bracket's busted. My bracket was busted, I think, after the second game. I think most people's were. Going to be breaking down all the March Madness games from the past week and also looking at some Sweet 16 matchups for the next weekend and also some World Baseball Classic. That's been going on. It's been pretty fun to watch. But before we get on that, make sure you follow stream on any platform at Burgers and Brats, and make sure you're watching on YouTube at Burgers and Brats. And we've got very special guests from the OU Food Pantry, Matthew Marks.
Wow, you didn't even introduce me as your original co-host. I see. I see how
I
it
think they
is.
know it. They know
They
it.
know that. I've been on a lot
Yeah.
too, but yeah, no, it's good to be back.
I just wanted to put on the OU Food Pantry because it looks like you guys have been doing some really good stuff. Talk about that.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we are partnering with Ethan Downs with OU football to do the biggest drive we've ever done on our campus, and it's it's gonna be a lot of fun and getting and tying that in with the spring game. So yeah, we got a lot of big things happening, helping a lot of people. So it's great work we're doing.
Good, good. Love involving the OU Food Pantry in this. I love helping out and everything. So, good stuff out
Yeah, I
there.
can count how many times you've helped out. No.
Multiple. You got two hands.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
All right. Well, Matt, I think we know where to start. There have been a lot of crazy games, but FDU, Fairleigh Dickinson upsets number one Purdue. 16 seed FDU beats number one Purdue. That was something. That
Yeah.
was something.
It really was, Braxton. That game, I'll tell you, I've got issues with Purdue, and I want to start with the opportunities they did not take advantage of in the second half. I think it was maybe 6 minutes to go. They were in the double bonus. They did not get to the line, and I may be wrong. Maybe they got to the line once or twice, but until like a minute 30 left, they had an opportunity to take advantage. You have Zach Edey, who's taller than anybody. FDU's roster.
The FDU, I think, average height is 6'1".
Shortest team in all of D1. Shortest team. And you have an opportunity here to go to the foul line over and over and over again. And you don't. And you don't take advantage of that. FDU played what you want to see out of a Cinderella team. They played so well. But Purdue not only becoming an embarrassment, but also just messed up big time in the opportunity. And look, FDU was double teaming, triple teaming Zach Edey. I mean, they shut him down. But it was a big mistake by Purdue that you weren't getting to the line and just trying to drive the ball and just try to get some free shots because they didn't get any shots. And they turned the ball over a lot.
Yeah, they had 16 turnovers. Purdue had 16 turnovers. I mean, FDU had 9, but yeah, Edey, I think he had 7 shots in the first half total and only 11. He was 7-11 in the game. That is not what you need to be doing when you are that tall of a man going against a 6'1" team and your whole team is relying on you. You should not be having only 11 shots in this game, especially only 7 in the first half. And then 19 of 53 from the field. That is awful. And then they were, see, 3-pointers, 5 of 26. 5 of 26. They could get nothing to fall. I mean, FDU wasn't much better, but it just a remarkable story. I mean, this FDU team, 4-22 last year as a team. They were second in the NEC tournament. They didn't even win their conference. They only went because the team that beat them was transitioning to D1. And apparently the KenPom rankings, this was the worst conference in basketball. The NEC. So just a remarkable story. I am so let down by Purdue. There are 3 teams I learned this weekend that I will never ever pick to go at least past the second round, maybe 4. You got Purdue, Arizona, Virginia, and Kentucky. I think those 4 teams you can just never pick to go past 2 rounds.
Well, and I learned my buddy Jacob Thomas, he said that he warned me because we went over our picks right before the tournament started. He said he warned me. He said, Purdue, he's always picked Purdue, but he said he just can't trust them to go all the way. I had Purdue in my championship game. I did not have them winning at all. I did not. But I thought, hey, why not? This is the year Purdue can do something. But should have known that maybe they weren't really a number one seed after all. They didn't play like one for sure. And that was a mistake. But look, you see the stat. This team has now lost to like a 15 seed, a 16 seed, a 14 seed. I mean, they've almost lost every seed, and it's an embarrassment. Matt Painter is Mr. Purdue. He's been there for a long time. He played there. He's a great head coach, but he just is now hitting this brick wall. He can't get past this, and he's got no championship to show for right now. And I don't think they're going to make a coaching change or anything, but it just at some point you got to go, okay, what's going on at Purdue? Because they just can't get over the hump. And again, it's not Matt Painter's fault. He's not playing. It's the players. But that second half, that last 10 minutes, that was pathetic.
Yeah, atrocious. I mean, they had 19 total free throws on the game, but and you look at this, Purdue had to beat a 16 seed that was not any good. Then they had to beat either Memphis or FAU, which I mean, 8-9 seeds, you should easily win that. FAU had never even made or won a conference or a bracket game. And then you maybe had to face Tennessee or Duke, which could have been easily beatable just to get to Elite Eight. And then you have your first real competition maybe. So they had an easy path to get there too, and they go out in the first round. It's luckily I only picked them to make my Elite Eight. I never picked them to make my Elite Four or my Final Four, but I did have Marquette, which sucks. But yeah, Purdue, like you said, the last three tournaments, they've lost to have been losses to 13 seeds or higher.
Yeah.
The last 13 seeds and higher. That is,
and they've run into that that Cinderella magic, but still, I mean, you should be able to put them away.
Yeah, just really an embarrassing effort. Embarrassing.
Yeah. And you've got the tallest player. You got Zach Edey. Zach Edey's played so well, and they didn't use him. I mean, they wasted him.
Yeah,
they really did in this game.
Couldn't hit anything down low. Couldn't hit anything outside. And then Virginia. Come on, man. Virginia too.
Oh man. Well, can I just say something about Virginia real quick? That's a game that you're like, hey, we won, but we don't want it. That's exactly what it was. You pass the ball in, they're going to do the foul game. You've won this game, though. You won this game. They were up by what? They were up by 2?
Yeah. They're up by 2. Chunks the ball.
Yeah. You're up by 2. You pass the ball. You just get the ball in. Now, I know Furman was really guarding them very well. But look, you get the ball in. It's a foul game. And then you hopefully make 2, and then it's over. I mean, it's over at that point. Instead, you just chunk the ball down the field. I'm not thinking football. Gosh, see, this is how much it just made me upset. You just chunk the ball down the court, and then here you go. It goes right in the hands of the other guy, and it's like, okay, well, that was a mistake. Let's just play defense. Well, magic happens, and there's your 3. March Madness.
And you look at the dude on his right is wide open, just a little 15, 20-foot pass, a little easy one right to a wide open guy. Gets the ball, run off more seconds, maybe gets free throws. Game's over. You're moving on.
And correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Virginia also have a timeout?
They probably did. And he just decided to play quarterback. So just Dom, that kid is going to be thinking about the rest of his life. Because I mean, they win that game, then they get to face San Diego State. And then they face Alabama, so it could easily got to the Sweet 16. And then Virginia, 2 of 12 for 3-pointers. Only made 2. Only shot 12, which is pretty low for a team.
Well, we've seen a lot of teams that have struggled beyond the arc on this tournament. I mean, there's been some lousy 3-point percentage from some teams that generally are pretty good. And that's really cost them. I mean, we've seen teams. Who was it? I forget which team. There was a guy that was 0 for 11 to start the game from 3, and he made one late in the second half. I forget which team, but there's been a lot of struggling from downtown. I
mean, it's some of the worst basketball you've ever seen in your life for the first 37 minutes. And then the last 3 minutes, it's so good, ends on a buzzer beater. You're like, this was the greatest game ever. That is how these games are going. It's just terrible basketball until the final few minutes. And I don't even want to talk about this team. This is stupid. This is just stupid. How do you lose to an Ivy League school? Arizona, 2 seed, losing to number 15 seed Princeton. At least Princeton made it to the Sweet 16 somehow. But Arizona as a number 2 seed, I think I picked them to go to my would be Elite Eight or Sweet 16. I think my Elite Eight as well face Purdue. Yeah, I think my Elite Eight facing Purdue. But to go out and lose to an Ivy League school who um I don't Princeton is the fourth Ivy League school. I'll have to get the stat real quick. But
Well,
then
yeah,
many Ivy League schools have not won.
yeah, while you're looking that up, I mean, this was really impressive by Princeton, and an Arizona team, a very veteran Arizona team that just blew a game. We saw this so I don't know how many times, and I don't know the entire how big Arizona was up in that game. I don't have that on the top of my head, but we've seen a lot of teams in this tournament that get early lead. And I know it's a long game. You could be up by 15 in the first 10 minutes of the game, and then it's a close game. That's usually how it always goes. You got a lot of teams that went up early and they choked it. They stopped doing what worked and they start switching it up, and then they got crazy with it, turned the ball over, making bad passes, bad shot selection. We've seen this so many times. And Arizona, a team like Princeton, and Princeton is kind of an exception because what we saw them do, they dominated Missouri. And I'm not saying Missouri's a good team because they came in is not. I mean, I was ESPN had, they do the little bios before with each team as you head in the tournament, and apparently Missouri is the worst rebounding team coming into the tournament or something like that. And so you go and you see this team and go, okay, Missouri's not like you're going against Kansas or something. But still, nothing to take away. Is dominating performance. They dominated the whole game. Princeton did against Missouri. So Princeton belongs here. They do. Yeah. But man, Arizona, veteran team, couldn't close it early.
Yeah.
So you let a team stick around and it's over.
Yeah, and Princeton is the fourth Ivy League school to make the Sweet 16 since 1975.
Wow.
Yeah. Only 0.112% of brackets had Princeton beating Arizona. So I think this is when we were about down to 300 brackets remaining perfect. But like you said, kind of going into that, Princeton, 4 of 25 from three for the first game against Arizona. Second game, they lit it up 12 of 33 from threes from Missouri. And like you said, the rebounding, Princeton had 44 rebounds in their game against Missouri. So, I mean, offensive they had double the offensive rebounds as Missouri. So, offensive second chances, that's what's going to help you win. And yeah, Princeton looks pretty good. I mean, they really have a good chance to make the Elite Eight facing Creighton upcoming. So,
that's gonna be a tough game. Creighton is played really well, especially what they did to Baylor.
I didn't see that.
So that's not going to be easy, but let's see what Princeton can do. I mean, they made it this far, and can they keep it going? That would be really impressive if a 15 seed can make it to the Elite Eight. I mean, wow, I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I think we're all rooting for Princeton right now. And then Duke, I mean, they looked really good in their first game. Or I think it was Oral Roberts is probably the game you're thinking about where, I mean, they just went cold. I think it was like 5-22 or maybe even worse than that, maybe like 5-28.
I mean, that game was Oral Roberts, I think, was down 14-0 to start the game. I mean, that was really sad. And I picked Oral Roberts and decided this was the bad decision to make this selection. But I thought, hey, why not? I saw it, they did a couple of years ago. And their point guard, Ambrose, is that right?
It's like Abmas or
yeah. Max, right? I think that's his first name. Yeah, he was lights out, but he was ice cold this game. And Oral Roberts just could not ever get back in the game, and they just got run off the court. But Duke looked good in that game. But they found their number in the next game. Tennessee really played well, even though some shots weren't falling, but the defense with Tennessee did really well to close out the game.
Yeah, I mean, Oral Roberts 8 of 32 from three in that first game. Duke only took 16 threes, but they were efficient and dominated the offensive glass. And yeah, Duke, that first game looked amazing. Thought, okay, this is that Duke team that everyone was picking to go Final Four and everything. And then you run into Tennessee, and they only allowed Duke to 21 points in the first half. That's insane.
Yeah, that was the lowest scoring I think Duke's ever had in a first half, right?
Yeah, so you are going to win games if
tournament
you
game.
hold an opponent to 20 points in the first half, the first 20 minutes. I was impressed by Tennessee a lot in this. I mean, you lose your best player before the uh, SEC tournament, at least kind of halfway through the season, and then now you are a pretty easy win away from going to the Elite Eight facing FAU.
And the offense for Tennessee ran through the point guard Vescovi. I mean, that guy played really well and made some threes when they needed it because some shots, again, that's maybe one of the teams too. Some shots weren't falling. You know, you keep taking threes, keep taking shots, and it wasn't falling. Tennessee's defense would stop Duke, and it would kind of go back and forth. But Vescovi hit some big threes when they needed the most and gave them those, started getting that momentum and those runs that propelled them to a victory. So
Yeah,
he was really good.
they look good. I mean, um, Kentucky, K State, that was one of the better games as well this weekend. That yeah, like Kentucky, like one of these teams you said, they had a big lead in the first half, kind of that choked it away. I think they only led by one at halftime, but they just stopped with going to what worked with them. This Kentucky team, they always have the talent. They can't ever go that far. Luckily, I had K State beating Kentucky in this game. This was like one of the only few games I had that actually made it to the round of 32 together.
Mm-hmm.
But fun game all around for this team. I don't know how many threes from 35 feet I saw in this one just go down. K-State got hot. And these teams only made a combined 9 3-pointers, but it felt like so many because it was in the final like 2 minutes that no one was missing. A lot of free throws in this game. Kentucky out rebounded them by 19
Man.
in
Dude,
this.
that the center for Kentucky was phenomenal, and I was so mad about that call towards the end of the game where they got Noel got 2 free throws when he was passing the ball.
Oh yeah,
Passing the ball, it was not a shot. Come on,
he
you watch
got
replay,
hot.
clearly passing the ball.
That was crazy.
That was
That
frustrating. I was screaming at my TV at that point, literally, because I had Kentucky, and you saw momentum. Momentum was already starting to shift towards Kansas State. That fully was the swing right there.
Mhm.
And look, you don't blame that on the. I'm not blaming on the refs, but that was a terrible call at that point right there. That started to just shift momentum completely to K State, and yeah, for my bracket, I hated it.
For me, I loved it. I was like, yeah, he was shooting that. He was shooting. I saw it. Yeah. And then I watched it. I
Mhm.
was like, oh, I'm not, that. No, he wasn't.
Got away with it, and he's in 90%, 98, 95, 90% free throws. I mean, the guy makes everything. So he made some big time shots. He played really well.
Yeah. And then, yeah, he played really well towards the end. I really feel like the officiating, except for maybe a few games, was pretty good. I mean, most of these teams had under 10 free throws, at least under 15 free throws per game for most of the teams. So I think overall the officiating has been pretty good. I think that Michigan State Marquette game, pretty choppy officiating kind of on both sides,
Well,
especially kind
and
of leaning against Michigan State for like the first early part. But
Houston and Auburn too
I
were a
didn't get
lot
to see
of
much of that
fouls.
game. But
There was a lot of. I mean, it was almost like every time down foul on both sides. It was getting annoying. It was almost, I don't know how many straight possessions were just foul, 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 free throws. I was like, come on, man, that's too much.
and then Marquette, how far did you have Marquette going?
I had them in my Elite Eight.
All right, then my final four, so I was not happy.
Yeah,
But
well, go ahead. Yeah, what were you say?
Tom Izzo, man, Spartan strong. After the year, the shooting on Mission State campus, it's a good story. I mean, it's a sad story. It's a good story to root for them, uh, picking them to go. But Tom Izzo, man, that Hall of Famer, one of the greatest coaches. How many does he have? How many rings does he have? Does he have any?
I don't
One.
know exactly. Yeah, I think they won, haven't they?
They
You'd
didn't
have
have
to
any
double check me.
Valentine. I don't
Let
think.
me let me let me look it up because I don't know the top off the top
But
of my
I
head.
am so pissed with Marquette. I mean, they got their runs going. They got it down. Uh, Michigan State made 2 3-pointers. They were 2 of 16. Two. And you
Yeah.
still lose this game. Marquette made 11. But okay, here's kind of a difference in free throws. I was on the opposite side apparently. Michigan State had 23 free throws while Marquette only had 14. Rebounds pretty similar. 26 or just a few more offense rebounds for Michigan State, but really pretty even, just a lot more free throws. Kind of does it, and then Marquette had a late turnover, and they're just stupid plays down the stretch. But yeah, I was upset with Shaka Smart and Marquette because I thought they had the easiest path,
Yeah.
honestly, besides Bama to make the Final Four.
You don't go against the Tom Izzo team in March, and I looked it up. He won in 2000, so it's been 23 years. He's got one title to his name, but he is one of the Hall of Fame coaches, and he is. I mean, his teams are fun. You go back and you watch a lot of his teams come March, and they make deep runs, and he proved that. I mean, he beat USC, and that was a close game. They pulled away in kind of in the second half of the second part of the second half. And then you see what he does to Shaka Smart's team, a very good, strong Marquette team that was supposed to go far, and they battled, and yeah, there was a lot of upsets there. And I'm going to say this as we're looking ahead. I hope he continues. I hope he beats K State. I don't know if you have K State, or well, you have Marquette, so it wouldn't
Marquette,
matter.
I'm done. I'm done on that side.
But I want to see him continue this. I am a big fan of Tom Izzo's. Just watching over the years, his teams. I don't watch in the regular season, but when it comes time to March, he's a passionate, fired up head coach, and his players respect him. His players love him, and the school loves him. And we saw that again as you talked about the shooting on campus. He was a big figure there, and talked to the press and talked to the media, and really just try to rally, and just a good human. And so I want to see him beat K-State. I'm also mad because it shouldn't be K-State, it should be Kentucky. And so I want to see K-State knocked out. But I'm excited to watch and see that game because that will be a really good game too.
All right. Going to the other side of the bracket. Kansas losing to Arkansas. Come on. Make your free throws, Kansas. I mean, I think if Bill Self's in this game, I think a 1 point swing is probably there. Kansas wins this game, but Kansas even had. I'm looking at the wrong game. Let me look at the right game here. I mean,
Yeah.
both completely even field goals made, but Arkansas had 8 more attempts on there. Both teams only a combined 8 3-pointers made. Both teams went to the line. Can't they had the exact same amount of free throws, but Arkansas just made 3 more than them. Make free throws down the stretch, Kansas.
Yeah, that's the thing. You make your free throws, and in Kansas again, another team that had a lead, a good lead to start the game, and they let Arkansas get into it and just stay alive, stay in it. And I mean, that was their undoing. Yeah, Kansas blew this one. They really did. And Arkansas, you got a very passionate head coach. You saw Eric Musselman get on the scoreboard, take his shirt off with the fans. I mean,
Yeah.
fans love that. And we're going to see a really good battle with him and UConn in this next battle in the Sweet 16 game. That's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, Kansas choked this one. They really did, and we're not going to get to see someone try to win back-to-back years. That ruined that streak for this time. So yeah,
Another team maybe not to pick to go far is Kansas as well. I mean, you can pick them to go Sweet 16 at least, Elite 8.
I had them. Yeah, I had them. I think Sweet 16 or Elite 8. Maybe I had them in Elite 18. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, I think it was Elite 8. But yeah,
Lucky you. They're my Final Four team to fall first.
dang.
Stupid. Make it free throws. Gonzaga looks really good. Great game against CC the other night.
Mm-hmm.
Under the radar, should have picked Gonzaga. The one year I don't pick them to go far, should have picked Gonzaga.
Yeah, I got them in a Final Four team. I'm excited for that UCLA Gonzaga matchup that I'm predicting to make it hopefully happen for that chance for the Final Four when we get there. That will be. I hope we get that rematch. Those are two really good teams. Mick Cronin's done a great job with UCLA. They've got incredible players. Jaime Jaquez is just leading that offense. I mean that's just a really good team. But then Drew Timme for Gonzaga. So I hope that matchup happens again because that will be a classic for March Madness.
Yeah, we're getting into the thick of everything. It's going to be so much fun. All right, before we predict our Sweet 16, let's go through On This Day in History real quick. On This Day, sponsored by Hefner Eye Care. 1965, cosmonaut Alexei Leonov. I completely butchered that. That's Russian right there. Becomes the first person. Yeah. Alexia Leonov becomes the first
What?
person
Yeah,
to walk
Lexi.
in
What did Lexi do?
space. He became the first person to walk in space, 1965. Woo! 1985, the first international domain name, symbolics.com, was registered. 1985. Wow, I didn't know it was that long ago. In
Nice.
2003, the beginning of the invasion of Iraq. 2003. So,
Man,
uh,
you're really bringing out the good ones tonight, aren't you?
yeah, well, there was nothing good on. On this days were
Gosh.
pretty mid this week.
Okay.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Queen Latifah, Bruce Willis, Kurt Russell, and Wyatt Earp. So, hey, connection right there. Tombstone, great movie, great movie. One of my favorite movies of all time. Only okay shootout at the OK Corral. You need to watch. That's the only movie you need to watch for that. All
Okay.
right, on this day, sponsored by Hefner Eye Care. All right, let's pick some Sweet 16, Matt. Let's start this team. Let's start with the easiest pick right here. This team, didn't talk about them in the first round because we don't need to because they are that good. Brandon Miller is a shooter. He can you get the joke right there. But
Yeah, I was just gonna, yeah, let's keep moving.
all right, Alabama versus San Diego State. Bama. No other
Yeah,
reason.
I mean, I have Bama. I need the points. Yeah. San Diego State's played well. I mean, really, Brian Detcher's team has played really well in this tournament. And I hope this one's a close game. I don't think it's a blowout, but I think Bama will pull away at the end. And so, yeah, I'm going Bama. Yeah.
San Diego State, 2% better 3-point percent shooter and a 0.5% better field goal percent shooter from the Aztecs.
Okay.
So maybe an upset brewing, but no. Bama winning this one. Please win the tournament. Please give me some points. Please, Bama. And then let's go Creighton, Princeton. I mean, Princeton, they've been on the run. Why go against them now? Creighton does look really good. They looked really good against Baylor. I thought Baylor would kind of wipe the floor with them, but give me the Ivy League over Creighton.
Yeah, I'd like to see them Princeton continue going in this tournament. I mean, for a 15 seed, like I said earlier, this would be really cool to see. Let's keep it going.
All right, and then Alabama, Princeton. We'll predict the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
Alabama. All right. FAU and Tennessee. I mean, FAU became America's villain versus FDU, especially with that late trying 360 reverse windmill dunk. What was that? Come on, I did not like that at all. But FAU,
Yeah, that was stupid.
I mean,
That was
FAU,
stupid.
they could have been a Cinderella team, like a team we all rooted for. They didn't do that, but FAU never won a March Madness game, so it kind of sucks. They went to America's villain, even though they've never even won here.
Yeah.
But Janelle Johnson, the first ever in March Madness history to go 25 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 steals for FAU.
Dang. Okay.
I need a lot
Nice.
from him. Give me Tennessee though over FAU.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Tennessee's a good pick there, and see what they can do.
All right, K-State versus Michigan State.
Yeah, but yeah, I've already said this. I want Michigan State to win. Tom Izzo, keep it going. Let's go the Elite Eight, baby.
I'll ride with Michigan State. Beat a better team. Marquette looked really good. I have Spartan strong with them. Why not? And then give me Michigan State. Make the maybe Elite Four or Final Four.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, they like you said, they've beaten some really good teams. I mean, they've played extremely well. So keep it going.
All right, Gonzaga, UCLA. You got this one.
I've got Gonzaga. This is one that I still, both those teams still in, and I picked Gonzaga to take UCLA. But this one's going to be extremely close. This one's going to be one that could go to overtime. It could be down to the buzzer beater at the end because both teams are playing so well. But I got to go Gonzaga.
All right, I'm going Gonzaga to pick this matchup also, but I'll root for Gonzaga. I really want to see them win. I really want to see Gonzaga win. How close they've been the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
I really need it. Arkansas, UConn. I mean, everyone's pick. Kind of a lot of famous people's pick, experts pick to make a Final Four, or the national championship. I thought they'd get to this game. I thought they'd lose to Kansas, but no Kansas. They got Arkansas. Give me UConn in this one. Beat a really good
I
St. Mary's team pretty good.
Yeah, UConn has looked really good. I think they will probably win this game. I don't want them to. I want Arkansas to win. I got people that picked UConn in other brackets, so I don't want to see that happening. But UConn has looked really good, and they should beat Arkansas. But we'll see. Arkansas's got some magic, and they got a fiery head coach. We'll see what that puts that to, in this matchup.
Yeah, and then winner, I think we're both taking Gonzaga over this winner.
Yes,
All
of
right.
course.
Texas and Xavier. Texas almost blew this game to Penn State the other day. Xavier's looked really good over the last few games. A really good shooting team. I think they're fourth best in the nation on 3-point shooting. They got this one guy who couldn't miss. Give me Xavier. I'll take Xavier.
I've got, and actually, this one's still live in my bracket. I've got Texas winning this matchup, and it was not going to be against Xavier, but I had them winning. So give me Texas.
I did too, but I'm changing it. Give me Zave. Houston, Miami. My national championship team is still in the running. At least my runner-up is. Give me Houston over Miami, Florida.
Yeah, I've got Houston winning it all in my bracket. So obviously, got to go Houston. I was hoping it was going to be a Houston Indiana matchup, but
Me too.
um, Miami played really well last night.
Yeah.
So
I think we'll both take Houston. So we're obviously both taking Houston. All
yep,
right. All right, Matt. Real quick, let's talk some World Baseball Classic stuff. I mean, some pretty fun games. I mean, I know there's been some hate, with especially with all the injuries that we've seen, which sucks.
yeah,
But USA's looked really good. I mean, 9-7 win over Venezuela, Mexico, Japan are
Braxton,
playing.
I got to go. Can you give me a second?
Oh yeah.
All right, hang on.
Sorry. All right, we're losing Matt for a little bit. Some little issues right there, but World Baseball Classic has actually looked pretty fun. I mean, we had the Trey Turner Grand Slam the other day. Uh, I don't see the hate. I don't see the hate, especially with KFC Barstool saying we shouldn't be doing this. Why not? I mean, you got March Madness going on, so I mean, there's other stuff in the sports world. So I mean, if March Madness was not going on, a lot more people would be paying attention. We also coming up on the spring training. Season's about to start next month, so we getting them a little bit warmed up for the season. Sucks the injuries are happening, but I think it's fun. I mean, these fans are enjoying it. I mean, you saw fans lining up from outside the stadium, lines mile long to watch the latest game, especially USA and Cuba the other night. USA demolished Cuba. You got Mexico and Japan in the semifinals, trying to head to the finals to face the United States. Don't have that game final yet. It'll be final by the time this podcast comes out, but that should be a good game nonetheless. I mean, Shohei Ohtani showing out there. Japan, easy wins, just easy for them. Mexico looks really good, but it's a fun thing to see, kind of like my USA Olympic shirt. It's all these great players from these home nations representing. It's the Olympics, but in March, getting prepared for the MLB season. I think it's a good thing for the sport as well, drawing in. I mean, you're drawing in viewership from all over the world, not just the Americas, because baseball is really just an American sport. Yes, you've got all these international guys coming in and playing, but they're not going to tune in really. Maybe Japan because of Shohei, but otherwise, they're not going to tune in to watch the Blue Jays versus the Pittsburgh Pirates. But they're tuning in to watch their home countries, their home players play these other teams, just like in the Olympics when we all watch. And I think if we get Japan versus USA, I mean, even USA versus Mexico, because I'm borders right there, I think it's going to be so much fun to watch. I'm going to be watching that. And the Trey Turner Grand Slam, that was fun for baseball. That was fun for baseball right there. So I really don't see the problem with it. I really do enjoy it, especially when all these big time players who could in spring training or being on vacation right now, they're deciding to suit up, go play for their home country, have a chance to win the national title, whatever the trophy, and show out for the people that sent him there. So I think it's good for the sport, good for the fans, and really good for the players to show that they care about their country, the sport, and everything else. So, World Baseball Classic championship game, not official yet. At this time we're doing this podcast, but otherwise, it's going to be a really, really good game when it happens. Oh, let's see. Check the scores right now. 5-4, Mexico bottom 8. So that's live of the Burgers and Brats podcast. 5-4, Mexico. So could be looking Mexico versus US, and I'm going to be watching that one for sure. And then championship game, 7 o'clock Eastern on Tuesday. So today, but when this comes out, we are going to be getting the championship game, USA versus maybe Mexico, maybe Japan. But all right, everyone. Thank you all for listening. First share my burger and brat with Taylor Moore of the PJ Tour. Got his first ever win this weekend at the Valspar tournament. Edmond native, played basketball with his brother, had his mom in English. So congratulations, Taylor Moore, first ever PJ win so at the Valspar tournament this weekend, holding off Jordan Spieth. Everyone, thank you all for listening. Hopefully your bracket's not busted. I mean, I'm sure it is. Everyone's bracket's busted. But enjoy March Madness. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you follow the podcast on any platform at Burgers and Brats, and stay up to date with latest news on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Hopefully you just watch on YouTube at Burgers and Brats. And check out Burgers and Brats giveaway on Instagram and Twitter. Be entered to win a free Burgers and Brats t-shirt. Just 5 stars, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Thank you all for listening. Take care. Stay safe.